Please welcome Mitchell Tenpenny to the Nashville Truth, the Kelly Ford Show.
I'm excited to be here with you. Always.
We've always had a thing. we same birthday.
Yeah,
That's why.
Leos.
Leos are great. Just ask us.
Yeah.
How fun is it watching you out on the road this summer? Like this was a big turning point for you in a way, right?
It's been a great year. Been out with Aldine last year with Luke Bryan, next year with Luke Combs, and Jordan Davis, and then we'll do our own headline. It's been great with touring, but we're gone all the time. So there's that other itch, the songwriting itch that I don't get to do as much because I don't like writing on the road. I do sometimes, but I have to switch what each thing is personally if I'm going to be able to give my best at it. If I'm on the road and I'm songwriting, then I'm not the best performer that night. My brain's just in a different place and I'm singing too much. And if I'm at home worrying about the artist saying I can't be the best songwriter, so I like to separate them. But with that, more time goes towards the on-the-road artist, which is great. I'm loving it, but I do miss the being able to write, almost every single day at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you loved about it? Besides like fans singing your music back to you, which has to be the coolest thing ever.
Well, that's obviously the first answer. I mean, cliche aside, it is the best feeling in the world. You write a song in a room like this, and you know the story, where it goes, to how long it takes, to hearing people and seeing people singing it back is the greatest feeling. But just being able to see different places, travel, meet people, that's been the best. I grew up in Nashville here, born and raised, literally right down the street.
He's the one. There's one.
I messed up. I bumped my head early, I guess. But, I was in this bubble. I went to St. Paul Christian Academy, from pre-K to 6th grade, and then went to Lipscomb, David Lipscomb through, 7th grade through high school. And then went to MTSU, which is only about an hour from here.
Oh, boy.
So I've been here my whole life and kind of in this bubble, more or less, until college. And then this has really, we traveled to Florida for vacation and Kentucky every now and then to see, Alabama. We didn't go anywhere growing up. So getting to travel, my brother's in my band, and see the world and to see people experience other people's cultures and beliefs and just different than this bubble has been the best for me personally.
And you really do. I feel like even in radio, I had a slice of that. You get a slice of there. Even though a lot of America is homogenous,
sure,
like you do start to understand what makes the places and people different. Like we met here, but obviously we hung out in New York when I was in New York. But you start to understand.
New York especially, wow, yeah.
Yeah, you start to understand, wow, Detroit is different. Here's why. You know what I'm saying?
We were just there, 2 nights ago.
Country fans are insane in Michigan.
I love Michigan. We were in Michigan and Chicago, or Detroit and Chicago, and was that my phone? Of course it was.
Probably mine.
Classic case. Hopefully that won't happen.
We're the same.
Anyway.
I forgot to turn mine off. So.
We'll be all right. But we were in Detroit and Chicago, and two places you just wouldn't think are country fans, and they're monster country fans, and they sing and they scream and they just have a great time.
What's the biggest shocker for you? I love that you're also living out your therapy, what you didn't do in childhood, in adulthood, right?
Right. Yeah, a little bit. The biggest shock that they let us do this, honestly. I wanted to play football. I thought I was going to do sports. The fact that I'm making a living currently, and again, I know that this could all come crashing down at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But, making a living playing guitar, that's shocking. That was never a part of the plan. People say plan B, plan C. There wasn't a plan A, let alone a plan B. I'm just going with the flow, man. Whatever opportunities have been given, and I would say that now, don't have a plan B. Maybe you have a plan A, but I don't have. My plan A is to be able to realize when an opportunity is being given to you. And be able to understand what this is an opportunity. You get you can miss it, you can miss out or not. That's a plan A for me. It's taking advantage of the opportunities when so many people don't understand that was an opportunity you just missed out on.
I think that's the best piece of advice for anything, right? You're like, I'm kind of that curious let's go kind of person. So
absolutely. And yeah, that's the whole reason I got signed. I wasn't planning on being an artist. I was just, you never know who's in the room in Nashville, and Sony happened to be in a room, and I was playing a songwriter, a little show that I was just playing some of my songs I'd written as a songwriter, and they offered me a record deal, and I said yes. I don't know why.
There are some people
and I love it.
Like, I hate him.
No, it's not. There was a lot more to it than that.
It's that easy. My gosh.
No, I've been doing this a long time, but just never expected anything from it.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I just enjoyed it. It wasn't a job yet.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy it, but it wasn't like, if I do this and that'll get me here, and if I do this, that'll get me here, and then boom, 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 and then maybe that'll get me in the room with this. That's not how it was. It was just enjoying meeting people and playing music with them and writing songs. And everyone's journey to the whatever spot they're trying to get to is so different. And Nashville has changed so much since I was growing up in it. And when my grandmother was, kind of, for lack of better terms, kind of running this town back in the day. She was such a badass, and
Aww.
she just worked her way up from receptionist to president of Sony Publishing for no reason except she didn't care about no. She just did it with Grace, this Southern belle from Alabama, cheerleader.
That's hilarious.
Ran away with the football player, from both of them. They came here, went to church, started preaching and teaching and trying to get jobs, and worked her way up. And that's what I saw. I just saw tenacity and just straight up, like, no is not an answer. So I understand there's challenges, but I've seen, that's why literally my entire company, my management, everyone is all strong women. I know like that's the best chance I have in life. If I surround myself
smart
with strong
man.
women. And that's not saying that because, it's good to say that these times. I'm living proof of it. And
that's been consistent with you all along. That's true.
That's just inside info. Like, do it if you're smart.
A smart man.
Yeah.
But you obviously too. Now, I don't think people understand how deep you are into the business side of music too. I think it was drinking with you one night at Red Door.
I don't drink.
Me neither. That I really understood you in a way I'd never. We just hadn't had the time together, and then also some bombshells of how this town works. But you are talk about the business side of this, and not just Mitchell Tenpenny, stage guy.
Yeah, people call it Music City. I would call it Music Business City more than anything. It is a business. Otherwise, it's a hobby. And for me, growing up and seeing it, I saw the nightmares, I saw the glory, I saw the good things. But it's a roller coaster, and anytime that you have people interested in you, people are going to want to make money off of it. And back in the 90s and early 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the music scene was just exploding, with record labels popping up left and right, signing these acts, and just the amount of money coming in was just incredible. And artists there just wasn't as many artists, so they were able to be convinced a lot easier, and a lot easier to sign over some stuff.
Yeah.
Some of your royalties or your merchandise, your masters, just whatever it was. And
when you get that chance, you're just going to grab it.
Of course, but back then you didn't notice as much because there was still a lot more money coming in. So it works out. This day and time, you have to be so careful with what you're giving away. This day and time, this thing right here is a record label. It's free. Yeah. You can promote anything. You can get your music out to the world for free. For a monthly fee. That's not taking your royalties. So to sign a record deal, it's got to be something that is worth it to you, and something that you see a vision with that team that's going to propel you to somewhere you want to go. Otherwise, just make a few videos. Make a few videos, be good, and watch it blow up, and then you own it all.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? So this day and time is so different. Back then, the record label was the one that had the connections to get you out there. Essentially a bank, a bank to pay, for music videos, case in point. No one's spending $500,000, $100,000, $50,000 on music videos anymore. Why would you do that when you can spend $5,000, make 15 videos on your phone, release them in different time, and then you've got way more content, and you've got more chance to get out to the world in this craziness. I mean, in our day and time, I call it, we're a Tinder swipe away. Next song.
Look, I just read something,
it's crazy.
Honestly, that to get someone's attention on a website, you have 54 milliseconds.
I believe that.
I was like, what?
It's just so it's so saturated now. It's so crazy how saturated it is. Back then, you'd go to a record store and you'd be competing with 50 records, not 50,000. 50 million.
How do people still get to that, like Luke Combs? I guess Kane Brown's a great example of someone who literally did what you said, but then signed with a major. So is there a way to make it to selling out stadiums if you're not with a major label?
I think so. But you're not going to know what to do. I think there's still guidance, the importance of the label, and what I take from mine, especially because, we kind of did the same thing. Jelly Roll just did the same thing. It's these connections to the figureheads. It's these connections to the people that control it all. And the thing is, what people don't understand is it's soul relationships.
Yeah. In a good way too.
In a good way.
Well, I kind of want to dog it a little because it.
Yeah.
But I also, like you said earlier, it's if you understand it, if you go in with your eyes wide open as an artist, any one of us in the industry, then you're better informed. So you can appreciate the joy and also be like, that's jacked up.
Yeah, I haven't run into many malicious people personally. Now we're in Nashville and country, and I think we have a more special thing. I know some evil people in some of the other genres, I'll say that. But as far as this city, it still kind of holds that charm of everyone kind of roots for each other. Yes, it's a massive competition and people compete, but I just haven't seen anything super malicious. Of course, it's business. People are going to try to get what they want, but that's on you too to be smart enough to use, get an attorney and you talk about it and figure out, what does this actually mean, and is that something that's worth it to me? Because you don't sign anything without an attorney anyway, so you should be understanding what you're about to sign. But the relationship part of it is, it's part of any business. Like you gotta be someone that people want to be around. You got to be someone that people want to hang out in the room, in a room with, and that's just part of life. That's any business. And so when you're asking like the stadium stuff, it's like, okay, well, how do you build a team to get? Okay, say you have enough fans to do a stadium. Okay, would you just call up Nissan and say, hey, I want to come play? No, there's about a million things to be able to get into that venue. There's just so many different, and that's what a label helps you connect all the dots to be able to be that large. And that's where you come into play. We'll say, well, hey, here's what's worth it to me to give up to get to that. Mm-hmm. Because yes, unless you own a farm and you got money to call someone and build a stage and everything, how are you going to get access? Even if you do have the fan base to do that. Mm-hmm. Like there are music industry people that have a job from catering, from helping you put the stage together, from licensing, everything you have to do that legally takes a team. And so, that's kind of, you can build your own label, but at the end of the day, that's a label, right? Mm-hmm. Still a label, so.
But you're now involved on both sides.
Yeah,
you have a label, and then you also and you also own a label. Yeah,
so I started it that way too, so I could kind of have my own control at the beginning, and then we joined ventures. For a case example, the real big point for us why we wanted to sign with Sony too was radio. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be on radio. Growing up as a kid, like hearing radio,
I love these
radio,
stories.
I wanted to be on radio, and that's a connection that we don't have. You know it, you being in radio for so long, like you need to go and you need to meet these PDs and you need to meet these radio personalities, and you need to actually have a genuine connection there to even stand a chance at getting an opportunity to get on the radio. And that's not fake. Yeah. That's something I want too. I don't want fake relationships. I want to meet these people. I want to know, what can I do to help get on the radio or to get a chance. Mm-hmm. And so you have to do that. The radio tour, go around and I wouldn't know how to do that by myself.
For people, I think the fan is so savvy now, and this is way more interviewy than I thought we'd be, but I
sorry.
like it. No, I love it because I feel like it's really good info.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know what a radio tour is,
sure.
I think fans are savvy now, and they kind of do, but
yeah, and I think it's kind of going away a little bit, but a radio tour, especially since the Zoom and everything we saw during COVID, but a radio tour is you sign, you're a new artist, and you got a single coming out. You have to go to almost every station in the country, fly in. Back when I was doing it was sometimes 3 flights a day. Like we go to Chicago early in the morning, fly from Nashville to Chicago, play 2 radio stations in the morning, get on, fly to Minneapolis, play 2, and then fly another place, play another radio station, have dinner, go to bed, and do the same thing the next day.
And you're meeting the program director,
you're
sometimes
PDs,
on-air personalities, but really you're trying to just make them aware so when We Got History crosses their desk, they're like, hey, I got history with that guy. He's a good guy.
I mean, exactly. And it's just putting a face to what they're seeing. I mean, they get new music every single day, phone calls from every label. The pressure is immense. I understand that. And, sometimes you have to make tough decisions on what am I going to play, what am I going to push, and a relationship affects that decision sometimes.
Why does radio still matter? As we all, honestly, the music business has changed so much, radio has changed so much. Why does it still matter, particularly to country?
I think there's a legitimacy to it. You get it to radio, you got to a point where I should listen. That means like you've broken through the mold. I need to give this a little bit more attention, I think, when it comes to mainstream listeners and the
it's part of that formula.
Perception.
It's part of the formula you were talking about.
Right.
That
yes.
the labels help, like in that way.
Getting on playlists now, getting on the radio, combining all that stuff together, and then selling tickets. That is a trifecta of, hey, we're here, we're in the heat of country,
Not as important, but case in point, like a Zach Bryan.
Sure.
Like he did not get where he was because of radio at all.
No.
Radio actually ignored him.
But I think he's gotten big. I mean, they're not ignoring him at all now.
But he's undeniable now.
But. Yeah, and now it's solidifying him to get, the radio also helps for artists because without radio, you don't get nominations.
Yeah.
You generally don't, unless you're just one of those, like a Brandy Carlisle who's just so cool and like they just do it because you're just so cool. Like there's a few of those.
She's just cool.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's a few of those that are they're just cool.
Yeah.
But the other side for radio, the songwriter side, that's the only way a songwriter gets paid.
Oh wow.
That's it. A songwriter does not get paid anymore unless they have a hit on the radio, which is so hard to get. That is so tough. So for me, I root for radio, not only just as the artist to play our music, but so that my songwriters and songwriters in general can get paid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because mechanical royalties, which if you don't know, mechanical royalties are physical CDs, albums, like physical things you sell. That's how songwriters used to get paid. Like if Taylor Swift sells, 10 million copies, and you had one song on that record that you wrote with 3 people, you'd be making $100,000, $200,000 back in the day.
Yeah.
Now you make $200. You're talking about $200,000 to $200 because nobody buys records anymore or CDs. They stream it.
Yeah.
Streaming is your masters, which the record labels own now.
Mm-hmm.
And artists don't get paid. People don't know this. Artists don't get paid for radio. I mean, we don't get paid for radio. The songwriters get paid for radio. Artists don't get a royalty check for radio like that.
I guess I didn't. If you're a songwriter on it, though,
yes. If you're a songwriter on it, you get paid for radio.
Right.
But so that's another thing. Now it's like this town's built on songwriters. But if you're a new artist and you're going to radio and your song's going to take a year and to maybe hopefully get to number 1, but maybe a top 20 could still be a year. And you take that whole time, but you don't have any money generating coming in from the writing side because you took an outside song. And then your guarantees don't go up because it didn't end up being a hit.
Right.
Then you're just stuck there, lost with no money, and you just worked your ass off for nothing. And it is a weird time right now.
It is a very weird.
I can go forever. Sorry, I don't want to bore everybody in the business.
I literally had this conversation with someone about radio who's with an organization here in town. She's like, we don't know what to do. It's changing so exponentially, like even from when the New York station went down, like crazy.
Right. Well, it's not radio's fault. It's our lawmakers' fault. It's an archaic royalty rate.
Yep.
That does not come. I mean, these were laws that came into place before television existed, let alone.
And then don't even get me started on how
computers. I mean, just like
Yeah, and the way ratings work too is also
ratings are crazy too. You can get into more of that if you want, but it's just it's crazy, and we live in the wild, wild west, and that's why I say
that's a great way to put it.
That's why I say it's anyone could do whatever they want, but I will say radio for me personally has been the sing back factor. When I get to play it, when I open for Jason Aldean and people are singing "We Got History," "Truth About You," "Drunk Me," whatever. It's because of radio. They've heard it on the radio. Yeah. They have not seen me on Spotify. We have our base for that on Amazon Music, on Pandora, all the streaming DSPs. We have radio. Our fan base for that, but not when I'm opening up for Luke Bryan or Jason Aldean or Luke. Like they found us through radio, and that is why it is still full circle around. Not talking about the business to me. It is that. Oh, I've heard that before. Oh, that's the guy that did that. It's that connecting dot light bulb moment that you can see on stage. It's like, that's why we do this. That's why I wanted radio so bad.
Well, because they have to discover it. It's still not the form of discovery it used to be, obviously, from when we were talking about in the 90s. But every once in a while, I'm like everybody else. I use my phone, right? But if I don't have it, I love somebody else curating it. Too, because it's songs like, sometimes now, and I'm sure you see this too.
I love that. Yes, I love someone else curating it.
Right? Because we're busy, we all have stuff to do, we got kids, whatever. But like when you turn on the radio, you'll still hear "Drunk Me."
Sure, yeah.
You'll still now the only person who would hear that who wasn't a huge M10 fan, they would be like, that could be a discovery moment, like for you.
Absolutely, it still is. It's still one of our highest streamed songs because people are hearing it still played on the radio and going and listening to it.
Yeah.
It's not that our fans are still going back to it all the time. I think it's still getting discovered.
Right?
God, man, when I heard "Drunk Me" for the first time on our local station, 103.3. 103.3 played it. I was hitting my freaking, I thought it was a CD of the demo, like hitting my thing, and it wasn't coming out. And I was like, this is really on the radio. Start tearing up, call mom, do the whole thing, And there's nothing better than that. I think you hear the personality. It's a playlist if there's no personality behind it.
Yeah.
So your job, including, and I'm just speaking out loud and things are coming to my head, but that shows you how important it is. That's radio too. A great radio personality makes it. And that was Mitchell Tenpenny right there on 105 KDM and do it, whatever. It's like,
God, I wish my voice sounded like that.
It's
my name's Kelly.
When you hear that after, it's just such a cool feeling. Yeah, I'm Kelly. That's not how you sound at all. Sorry.
Oh wow, you went kind of
back in the day. Yeah. I used to love your voice. You had a great voice. And the first time I met you was Todd, Chuck, and Kelly.
Yeah.
And I did a song.
Do you still remember it?
I do not remember it. I remember saying something about, I don't know.
What I love about hearing you talk, you should be like, is there a union? Like a songwriters union? You should be like
there is,
Norma Ray of like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you get that scope of the business.
Yeah.
Probably because of your lineage, but also the choices you've made as an artist and songwriter.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. Even more than I thought I knew, and I like to change with the way. I like to be on the cusp. I like to know what's happening next. I like to be aware and prepared. Like I like to know,
that's awesome.
And I like to take care of people. I like to give people the best chance because the most talented. I know some of the most talented people in the world that'll never get a chance because they just that part of their brain isn't, the business side isn't there. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. And so I like to help give them a chance and be like, hey, let me tell you from somebody that has nothing to gain from you. I just like what you do. Your music speaks to me. Let me give you some advice.
How often have you done that, and to who? Name drop.
I'm not going to specifically name drop, but lots of artists.
Where you may not even know them, but you're like, hey, just
yes. When I will come up and just ask, what's your story? What's your plan? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And and I'll start hearing it, and I'll see how green, and I'm like, oh man, they're gonna come at you hard. I can just, in my head, I'm speaking, I'm like, they're gonna attack this person.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to get them. They're gonna try to get them for everything they're worth, and make it seem like this big glorious package. And I want you to know, here's what to look out for.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that they're not evil either. This is just the business.
Yeah.
I want to show you how to protect yourself, but how to create a real relationship and how to stand a chance. And so I enjoy that because I do want to see people succeed when the talent is actually there. I don't like seeing people succeed when the talent's not there. That's business. I like seeing talented people succeed.
Yeah.
But I hate seeing them not because they don't have the business side.
Yeah.
So I like to try to help people combine that the best I can, and with absolutely nothing to gain from it.
Because that kind of is how the town works, or especially now in the past year and a half that have been a little more deep.
Yeah.
It seems like, obviously, we're just going to assume somebody has great talent, right?
Sure.
And then it's narrative, right? What their narrative is.
Gotta have a narrative, yeah.
And then it's all the things you said, plus timing.
Timing. Lord have mercy, the stars have to line up. The stars have to line up.
Some people you see who've made it, you're like, the timing was just right for them.
Yep.
Or they met just the right people, because to your point, this town is about cheerleaders. So if you don't find the right cheerleader or the right group to come up with,
absolutely,
you're kind of screwed, right?
It's just going to be so much harder. I mean, there's always your anomalies. There are always going to be anomalies, and it's going to make you shake your head and be like, how did that happen? Don't worry about that. That's an anomaly.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Focus on what you can control. Like I said, being a good person, being someone people want to hang out with, and being great. Mm-hmm. If you can do those three things, and then be persistent and stay in there, and you'll learn the town as you go. They call it a 10-year town for a reason.
Yeah.
It is.
You cannot come. Well, I think most relationships and jobs are like that. I remember going to New York. I was so scared. Sure. And then I was like, I didn't come out like, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, right.
It was like, you like friendships.
Yeah. People
start to go, all right, we trust her. It's.
Trust is huge. You got to develop it. You got to build it. You got to earn it. You can't, you don't just walk in and just ruin someone else's friend circle and just like bust in and be like,
pew, pew.
All those years y'all have had together, those stories, those nights at Tin Roofs. Well, include me in that, even though I haven't had that yet. It's like, that doesn't happen. No one's going to do that to you. It's like, well, you haven't drinking a pickle shot with me yet and talked about it. We haven't dove into there. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you believe in. I don't know anything about you. So why would I give you a chance over this friend who's been in the trenches with me for forever? It's like, that's called
history.
It's called history. It's called earning trust. It's part of life, man. It's not just the music industry. It's anything.
That was really the most content rich about Music City, I think, because I knew you'd understand it in a way that others even.
It's fun for me to talk about.
I know, I love that. I can see. Look how excited you are. You're like, I got more, Kelly.
No, we'll quit boring people. We can do it.
No, I think it's interesting. I think it's my podcast. I don't care.
Yeah, sure, but hell yeah.
If it interests me, it's.
Absolutely. I think people would be interested in knowing it, especially if you want to be a part of it.
And then you bring this beautiful blonde into your life.
Yeah. That
is such a strong, I've always loved her as a woman. Yeah. I relate to her. She's just a boss babe.
Yeah.
And I know you already mentioned the strong women in your life, but maneuvering that not just on your own, but together.
You need a partner when you in this business. I mean, it's tough. You don't need anything. Let me take that back. I want a partner in this business. I don't need you to need me. I want you to want me. We both agree with that. But once you get it, you realize, man, it becomes a part of you that it's like maybe I do need a little bit to let go. It's not I need you. I need to let go and put it on somebody that I trust more than anything. And vice versa.
Yeah.
And she has been an amazing rock for me for that, and I hope that I am for her. I try. But we both fell in love with music first, and that was why this relationship works. We love each other more, but we want each other to succeed and stand a chance at that. Mm-hmm. And so there's no making each other feel guilty about having to go on the road or having to do this and that, I had that with past relationships, and it wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
It's just not, when when she was little and growing up and thinking about getting married, she didn't expect her husband to be gone all the time. And I get that. That wasn't the wedding that she desired. You know, it wasn't what was in her head growing up. So I understand. I'm talking about like ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's not what. So it's not fault. I'm not mad about that. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Me and Megan met. There was none of that, and that's why we work. It was, hey, I want you to stand a chance. I understand what this is, and I want to be together forever because that means that I know I'm going to have you in the future.
Yeah.
And so this little bit of time away from you, go have it.
Yeah.
Because I know I got you forever, and that's why we work together. And it's been an amazing blessing coming up on what's today, almost a year.
Yeah.
So about 3 weeks or so. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. You definitely have your things you learn, but it's been amazing to have that solid foundation now that I've never had in my life like that, besides from my parents, you know.
Well, our birthday post, what she wrote about you, I thought was really sweet, and it did kind of touch on some of the things you're saying, which is you understand the business. And I love people who are like, oh, I'd never marry anybody in the business, or I would. I mean, I think it's individual.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I never would either until I realized that that's what works for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely said that. I don't want anyone in the business. Like, no, I'm glad because, and here's another thing too. Because we both are in the business, there are boundaries, which are, I know how hard the business is. And do we want to bring that home?
Oh, yeah.
If you're having, and I know what we've had to learn in our marriage is, do you want your husband or a manager? Which part do you want when you're talking?
You can't role play?
No. Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
Now pretend I'm a farmer, Meg.
Shania Twain, and I'm, whatever. But it's...
Here I am playing your song.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
right,
for advice...
Now I'm a DJ. Call and request your song.
Well,
Well, I've got all kinds of ideas. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, whatever, man. But no, but I do mean, like, how do you want me to answer this question? I mean, this you're talking to me and you had a stressful day and this is going on. How do you want me to answer? Do you want me to answer it as a husband and just listen? Or do you want me to give you advice? And what she wants is a husband to listen.
Yeah.
And she's got a manager.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, here's what we're going to do. When we have a hard day in the industry, like we come home, let's not talk about that. Yeah. Go talk to your best friends, Lainey Wilson, Casey Tyndall. Yeah. Go. That's what you talk to them about. I'll talk to mine about that. Mm-hmm. You having problems with your sister, your mother, your family, you're scared about something. Let's talk about that. But if we start doing that, if we start talking about how hard the industry is every day, it's going to be a terrible marriage. Yeah. We're never gonna agree. It's different for men and women. There's no doubt. So my perspective is not going to be yours, and vice versa. Yeah. So why don't we? You didn't get here with me, and I didn't get here with you. We're here together now. We don't need to tell each other what to do or how to do it.
I love that.
Let's leave that to our friends. That's what Red Door and Losers and all that's made. God built bars for that reason. To go and vent with your friends. Let's worry about real life, not this fake life we get to live. Yeah. When we're at home. And then we'll celebrate the good things.
But do think about the role-playing thing with her.
Yeah, we definitely will. Coming up on a year.
I've given you some good, as your big sis.
Hey, Megan, your song is not added. Get mad at me.
What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
What's the video game that changed your life?
The video game that changed my life, probably Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Man,
really?
That was the best for me. Super Mario Brothers.
Donkey Kong. Remember what was the country Donkey Kong?
Country Donkey Kong.
Wasn't there a
Donkey Kong Country? I don't know.
Maybe it was. I'm making it up.
I don't know. Yeah, it's fine.
When my kids were little, I was the video game mom who's like, Mom, could we eat dinner? I'm about to beat the boss.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean.
Only Mario Kart.
So, yeah, well, back in the day, I don't play a lot of video games anymore. Mostly it's sports. I'm a big nerd. I still collect Pokemon cards.
Oh, we know this.
You want to ask me, but Pokemon changed my life.
I got you Pokemon for your birthday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to. I'm so unorganized. I forgot. I brought you Dunkaroos today.
Oh my gosh, we did talk about that too.
No.
Oh Lord, anyway, I got a physical after this. I haven't had one in like 8 years, so Probably shouldn't rip the Dunkaroos until after the festival. Anyway.
Be like, this guy's blood sugar is through the roof.
It'd probably be anyway, but well, he ate Dunkaroos the last 24 days, so.
Oh, but the delicious little funfetti in it.
Oh, they're so good.
So good.
It's the nostalgic aspect of it too. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like I'm just like a kid going to a game. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
So yeah, you're a big sports guy. Big better. Titans are your team.
Amen.
Here's a question for you. This is a real, I'm going to do whatever you say.
Okay. There.
I, as you know, spent a lot of my adult life in Denver, so I was always a Broncos fan.
Sure.
Okay. Great Broncos fan. Got to do a lot of charity stuff with them. Was friends with the horse Thunder, who runs out on the field when they score.
He's a
white horse. So then in 2013, when I go to New York, I'm still lingering in the Bronco fan, and it was easy not to pick a team, right? Even though I think I would be a Jets fan.
You don't need to be a Giants or a Jets fan. There's just no reason for that.
But I'm Irish, and I feel like the Jets, they've...
Be a Celtics fan in Boston, but that's basketball, but yeah.
So I'm getting to my point, which is, it takes me a while, that I think I might be ready, and come at me, Denver people. I think I might be ready to become
Titans fan. Yes, you are ready.
Doesn't it seem like a natural transition?
I can see it in your eyes. It is. It's God's team, and I can see it in your eyes. And
God's team lost real bad this week.
Well, sometimes you got to give to get back. One day we gave a little bit. Who needed a win? The Saints.
Yeah,
we were very happy to get that to them. I'm honored.
So
we helped some people out, and they needed that real bad, so they're welcome.
But now, when do I look like a total?
You've also
loser?
Been here before. You've lived here
I know.
as well. Like
I feel like
for a while. So like this is.
I'm not fake. It's not fake, right?
You've been here, left, and come back. That tells me like you're the prodigal daughter, not son. Like you're been there, come back to your home. This is your home. Titans are your team.
Makes sense, right?
We don't even need to talk about it anymore. They're obviously your team. I'll get you a jersey.
Okay. All right.
An authentic jersey with nice sewn-in letters, so you feel like you're part of the team.
Yeah, I had a Broncos one.
And that's fine. 2013, that wasn't when Peyton won. You weren't there.
No, I left.
You weren't there when they won. So
I went to a couple of John Elway Super Bowls. The real
You were there
boring
forever.
one.
So 98?
I was there with
Falcons?
Yes, that was the worst game ever.
They won the Super Bowl, 1998 Falcons-Broncos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if the Broncos play the Titans? I'm still like, I've gone over. I'm still Titans. Do I do a little?
No, you're here. You're the Titans. You're done. You can root for the Broncos when they're not playing the Titans. That's what I do with Megan. She's a Bills fan. I'll root for the Bills until they play the Titans. It's okay.
Wow. First of all, that's kind of, you got immersed into a whole culture.
A lot of stories.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it's not really that different to me. It's just right above Niagara Falls. We're both kind of in the middle of it.
Thanks for the geographic lesson. Like, dumbass.
Well, it's like I can
right there.
It's like I can be looking at Niagara Falls and be like, "Hey, Canada, who's looking at Niagara Falls?" It's like so. I guess we're both kind of there. It's just someone drew a line and said, "We're Canada and we're America."
There was that whole every year they do that floaty thing down from Canada, and remember how they ended up somewhere in Michigan? Yeah,
that too. You got there. We're just right. We're just right there.
Oh, there.
We're just right there.
We'll get a green screen next time.
No, I mean, there's definitely some cultural difference. A lot of French, like Toronto, like more than like America, but it seems pretty much the same. They're way nicer up there.
They are nicer.
They're way nicer.
I mean, let's
Canada.
be real. They're nicer.
Now it's fun to go up there. It's cool to see. I also like snow, and I didn't have it growing up in Nashville. So like getting to go there in the winter and actually see like large bodies of snow.
I'm the weirdo. Cool. That's why I love living in New York. People are like, "Oh, winter's horrible." I'm like, I love it.
I love trekking through through snow. To me, it's like when we got snow, like we would get 6 inches tops, but the whole city would shut down. It's peaceful. There's nothing to do except all the moms are going to run and get eggs and bread for some reason.
Right.
Things that
panic
spoil. I don't really get that, and milk. But it was like it would shut down. There was nothing. It's peaceful. It's white. It's quiet. No one on the roads. And you start seeing a flurry. You're sitting in 3rd grade. And there's a flurry coming through the window, and you're just like in your head. You're like the possibilities of what that flurry could bring for my day and my friends.
Wow. See.
It's like, yeah, it's like,
oh, there you go.
Like we could meet, and then you hear over the intercom, class. A snow day is about to begin, blah, 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 and it is just pure joy erupting from our brains. serum is blowing out of our ears.
All right. Well, we could go on forever, I think.
Sorry.
No, I love it. But I'll see you again soon. I'm really
We'll do it again, please.
Pumped for you on the tour. I'm pumped for you. Everything's slow and steady wins the race, and you're that guy.
Amen. I got to tell myself that all the time, too. But I love, I'll say this, one of my favorite songwriters of all time, his name is Bobby Braddock. He wrote He Stopped Loving Her Today, a little song like that.
Mm-hmm.
God's Great Beer is Good, People Are Crazy. I mean, up to that. I mean, just a whole spectrum. He told me, Mitchell, are you writing a song for a lunchtime or a lifetime? And that put a perspective on my entire journey. I want to write for a lifetime. I want to be in this industry for a lifetime, not a lunchtime.